Hello and welcome back to Couch Surfing with Koi, the traveling podcast where the guests are whoever lets me sleep on their couch. And in today's episode, I'm by myself on my own couch back in Greenville, North Carolina, where it all started. And I figured I'd use this brief break that I have from freeloading off of the people that I'm interviewing to just kind of catch you up on what's been going on in my life, talk about some stories and my experience the last few months couch surfing. So, yeah. W was that a good intro? Yeah, so I'm back in North Carolina, for a month, actually. This is the biggest break that I have from travel, and it's because I move out at the end of this month. So, I don't know where yet, but we'll get into that a bit later. First, I wanted to catch you up on if you're a little bit behind on what's been going on in my life. Basically, I 2 years ago moved to Greenville, North Carolina, to be next to Mr. Beast. I'm a big fan. No, actually, they're just like a bunch of content creators around here. You know, Mr. Beast and all of those little twinks that he puts on camera sometimes. And I got invited to move out here and just kind of like hang out. I not work for them, but just like work on my own stuff while I learn from them. And now I'm done living here. I don't want to do it anymore, and so I'm moving out. And until then, I started this podcast where I'm sleeping on people's couches and trying to decide where I want to live after this. So I think that's basically like all you need to know. If you want to know like why I've decided to leave Mr. Beast, I can sum it up pretty quickly for you. Greed. So that's kind of the short version. If you want the long version, the first episode of my podcast, My Escape from Mr. Beast. It's I don't remember anything I said in that, but I say some things about it. So enjoy that because journalists sure did. My podcast email, I haven't gotten one sponsor yet, but you know what I have gotten? Business Insider emailing me for an exclusive interview asking me to dish the tea on Mr. Beast. Yup. And also, I've gotten DMs from like all of the people whose careers on the internet rely on the downfall of Mr. Beast and just kind of like spreading Mr. Beast drama. I have DMs from all of them unopened. The DMs that I got, some of them are so crazy and I'm like, I don't know if you're trying to fearmonger me or if you're like actually like if you're like rightfully being scared right now or if you're overreacting or like just like in some kind of paranoid frantic state. But like I got a DM that was like I'm hiding out with my girlfriend right now in Canada because private investigators can't cross federal lines. So like if you want to like stay with us like for your mental health and like this and this and this and like I like stay with us for your mental health. You mean like you want me to be on your you want me to be on your couch so that we can so that I can like talk badly about Mr. Beast with you so you can get views and further your career cuz honestly, that strategy works. And I'm before I hate on it, I might not want to hate on it because I might want to come back to it in the future. If I'm ever falling off, just expect me to start kind of getting out some of my secrets I'm holding on to. And replying to some DMs from some angry ex Mr. Beast employees. So, yeah, my lease is up at the end of this month, and I'm kind of entering the deep end of couch surfing. And so I kind of wanted to like use this episode to reflect on my experience so far. I've been doing this for a few months. I've visited a bunch of places, met a lot of people, gotten to have a lot of cool conversations. I hope you've been enjoying it so far. I've really enjoyed seeing this project come to life and come to fruition, even if that makes me sound cool. I feel like it did. And I'm excited to see where it continues to go and continues to take me. And I have no idea all of the places I'll go. Dr. Seuss might, though. Oh, the places you'll go. It was a Dr. Seuss reference. You got it. So, I thought I'd spend this episode talking about all of the places that I visited and what I thought about them, and then talk about where I'm going forward, I figured you'd spend this episode listening. I started my couch surfing journey in Austin, Texas, with Jazzy Ann, and it was a great time. Don't know what I expected from Austin, Texas. I guess like anytime I think of Texas, I just think of the desert. I think of specifically an episode of Ant Farm, too niche, where they like go to the desert and there's like an emu. I think that maybe that was my first time like seeing the desert. A lot of my like core understandings and beliefs and like learning and like references to things in my brain are just like Disney Channel and Nickelodeon shows. And that's really scary because like, well, I don't feel like I need to explain why that's scary. I feel like it's even scarier because like what are kids watching nowadays? Am I right? On those iPads, Gen Alpha, it's like, okay, we're on our screens all the time. Beep, 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 beep. Am I the first person to have this conversation? Scrap the podcast the concept. Let's talk about screen time and how screen time affects your mental health. I know you want to talk about that. I'm not tired of it. I want to talk about it all the time. Actually, speaking of like screen time, I got an app that every single time I open an app, it goes, "Are you sure?" Well, it doesn't say that. It says, "Is this important?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm not even doing this actively. I didn't even control my thumb when it clicked on this app. What do you mean is this important? It's important to a part of me, obviously, because I show up here all the time, and then I have to click unlock. And when I click unlock on the app, it then gives me 5 seconds to really make sure I want to unlock the app. I'd love that if it just showed like a photo of like maybe an English teacher I really, really cared about in 8th grade, just like staring disapprovingly at me. I feel like that'd get me to swipe up, but I don't know what's gonna keep me outside of my apps anymore. Nothing is keeping me from breaking into these things. And then it gives me 5 seconds, and I can only open it 5 times a day for 5 minutes each. So if I'm on Instagram, just know it's important. What was I talking about? Sorry, I got so excited about apps. You know how I love my apps. Guys, 2025, it's the year of getting more apps on our phones and playing on them. Austin, Texas is what I was talking about. Yeah, I just like expected I guess like southern desert vibe, like barren wasteland. I didn't barren wasteland. That's not what I meant. I just like expected like dune, I guess, or like dry cracking ground, you know? Like that's kind of the vibe, and I didn't think that they'd even have houses. I didn't know where they lived. Maybe in like the mountains. They built like little clay houses or something. I'm like talking about one of the biggest cities in one of the biggest states. No, but like I got there and the closest thing to tumbleweed was my hair. I was shocked. I didn't see a single tumbleweed. But they do have these little birds there that I am actually obsessed with. I'm obsessed with them. They look so I don't want to say chic because that feels lazy. I want to find a better word other than chic. Can you give me a few seconds? Let me think. Not chic, like versatile. They look like equipped. I don't know how to say. They're these like birds that almost look like crows, but they look a little bit more athletic. They just look like they would be versatile, but like they look like they would be good at being like a Swiss, like if a Swiss Army knife were a bird. I feel like this bird could like do most of the things that it would want to in its life. They're everywhere in Austin. I saw so much vegetation in Austin and wildlife in Austin that I had never seen before. I expected a cactus, maybe a dried up shrub, and I got lots of green. Honestly, it's like really, really hot there, but like that, I guess that means that there's like vegetation that only survives in that hot weather and has like adapted. And so it was a bunch of it was a bunch of nature that looked like stuff I'd never seen before. And I think the cool thing about Austin is that it's a big city, but surrounding it is a bunch of nature. And the parks are really they're really beautiful. It's like really green. You know, I've been to different environments, but all of them were like really I don't know. Texas's nature was unlike any other nature I'd seen before, and I think it was really, really beautiful. And it was really, really hot though. I don't think that I could live there with that heat. The other thing is that There were so many gay people in Austin, Texas. I was really confused. I was like, you guys know that this is Texas, right? I mean, I'm coming to you from North Carolina. But like I was like, I've never seen a handlebar mustache look so gay. There are so many gay people in Austin, Texas that they have benches outside of the women's restrooms specifically reserved for twinks that are waiting on their girlfriend to get out of the bathroom. Which I thought was really cool, you know? And they have popper vending machines. Wait, actually, that's a real thing that I've seen before. I went to a gay bar in North Carolina, and just gay bars in general. Did you guys know this? That in gay bars, there are vending machines with poppers in them? I don't mean to be homophobic, but sometimes you gay people go too far, and that's all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna move on very quickly before someone starts typing somewhere. So lots of gay people, but also on the other hand, there's tons of finance bros, lots of big NFT crypto guys. I feel like it's a big tech hotspot. You go into like a coffee shop, and everyone is on their little MacBook that has and has a giant water bottle that I is more water than I drink in a week in one water bottle, and it's just covered in stickers from all different national parks, and it's like, we get it, you have a good life, we get it, you have your life together." It's, like, not about me at all. I love that I'm the kind of person that I can even make someone's water bottle, about me. I'm the kind of person that can make someone's water bottle an attack on myself. So, no, but you go into a coffee shop and everyone's doing that like work from home vibe, and they're like in these meetings where it just is like some business startup doing some AI tech that you never even heard of and probably never will, because it'll get a bunch of investments from like, a bunch of like Chinese billionaires that are like, "Oh, we found the next TikTok. We're going to invest." And then it'll fall off the face of the planet after a few months, and those kinds of businesses. I feel like those are all around Austin, Texas, but also there's a good like other side of the coin, which is like it's very artsy and very queer. I don't know. I feel like maybe I could live there if I kept growing my NFT collection, but I have all the ones that I want right now, so there's not really a point in me moving there. Joking. Cut the part where I say joking. I don't want them to know who I am or what I believe in. One of the weird things about Texas in general is that they believe that they're their own country, kind of. They have like they pledge allegiance to the Texan flag, sorry. Sorry, please don't come after me. They pledge allegiance to the Texan flag. And I was talking with Jazzy and she was like, "Yeah, a lot of times we just like forget that other states exist outside of it because it is like one of the biggest states named Texas to ever exist." So I don't blame them. I mean, I'd get lost in it too. The city though, Austin is beautiful. I think that like I don't like the like Texas nationalism. Would that be considered nationalism? Like they believe that they're their like little nation because it's like United States of America. Stop being a pick me, Texas. I think that like the problem though is that if I lived there, I think that I'd get tired of a man with a mustache. That just gave me chills to even say out loud. The fact that that's even a possibility for me. They in Texas, they are wearing mustaches. The mustache, the mullet, the that little vibe, with the like the shorts that like straight. Can you let me do the air quotes up against the microphone so you can hear it? Straight guys are wearing the shorts that are like all the way up on like riding up onto them that like they'd call gay guys gay for wearing years ago, which they were right, but now it's like pot call kettle, or however they say it. Those and like the like big brown work shoes, even though they've like never done a day of manual labor in their life, and then like one of those like trucker hats, and like the vibe, the aesthetic that I'm talking about. That is basically every single man in Texas that I've seen. When I was in Austin, though, I did get to go to a creator party, or I guess it was like a potluck is what they called it, but then that makes me sound like a millennial, right? Like, "Oh, we went to a potluck and we did a crazy socks gift exchange and drank coffee out of our mugs with, single words on them, with a period after." Shout out Ray Dunn. So I went to this party or potluck, if you will. Brought these cookies that were so good. That's besides the point, but I made like apple pie cookies and people loved them. The energy, I mean like I'm not going to like talk badly about thank you so much for having me at this party. Now can I say what I want? The energy, it was just, like, so broy in there, it was so, like, boys club, and it was so, like, these creators that were, like, very, like, hustly, like, very in it for, like or it's, both hustly, like, doing it for money, but also doing it for, for pretentious reasons, for, like, a self-importance. You know what I'm saying? You know the kind of creator that, like, does, like, a silhouette of them standing in front of a sunset with, like, big yellow text that's like, "Never give up on your dreams. Hi, my name is Cody, and I've been traveling the world since I was 19." Wait, I'm literally just making fun of myself. I just hurt my own feelings. I'm not doing that, but you know what I'm talking about of, like, these people who are, like, film bros, but then they're also, like, making Instagram reels, and that's fine, because it is an art, like, all video creation is an art. Um, but when you have conversations with these people, there is kind of this like there's a weird culture that they've created around it, I feel like. Where it's like the guys that like love Interstellar. Like if imagine if they made Instagram reels for a living, and then imagine you put 8 of them in a room and hung out with them. And do I need to say more? Because I'm not trying to really hate on them here. Because like that's the male manipulators that make Instagram reels. They're always gonna exist, and they should. Sorry, but guys, if you're watching this, I'm kidding. I'm stereotyping you for the sake of the bit, and I'm sure you have way more depth than I was able to discover. Saved it. Basically, that was the vibe of this party or potluck. Sorry, excuse me. And there was one guy, there were like two guys there that did like blockchain, which I don't really know what that means. I just heard people say it and it sounds evil. I think it's like NFT, like crypto kind of like vibes. But there was this one guy I got stuck talking to, not stuck. I had the privilege and honor of speaking to a guy who was in Austin for crypto and NFTs, and that was what he did for a living. And he was trying to kind of engage in this conversation with me, but I was like, what do we have in common? Like this feels like the last person that I would maybe talk to in the world ever. But I did. I decided to talk to him, and he was like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And I was like, "Ah, I'm a YouTuber." And he was like, "Oh, no way. So, what do you think about all this Mr. Beast stuff? You think he's actually a bad guy?" Sir, that's oomph. That's my moot. You don't realize it, but you're speaking to someone who has a very close and arguably intimate. No, not it's not. It doesn't. He's like engaged now, and I need to not get in trouble. I was like, what do I say? Because, like, obviously, I have a very in depth opinion, more in depth than most on Mr. Beast. I have several opinions that I could give, and I have several experience on my own behalf. But he wasn't asking because he knew that I live next to Mr. Beast, that I knew Mr. Beast personally. He was asking because it was like the relevant internet drama at the time. So I just had to give this kind of like diplomatic response of like, I don't really know. I mean, like, I haven't really kept up with it. So that's cool. But back to what you do. And he's like, yeah, so actually, I've been trading. I traded 3 ape NFTs this week. I'm like, "All right, actually back to MrBeast." So I actually live in North Carolina next to him. Do you wanna hear some secrets? Um, spilling MrBeast's deepest, darkest secrets so I don't have to talk about NFT with some guy at, a party. Yeah, so that was, like, an interesting vibe, but also, like, I love being at a party where I don't get along with any of the people. Is that crazy? I feel like I'm learning so much because it's like there aren't as many opportunities in your life to be at parties that you don't belong than there are to be at parties that you do belong. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a freaking loner like me and you don't belong anywhere. No, but like I feel like I get to learn so much from being in a group of people that I wouldn't typically be around. And I get to make fun of them on my podcast indirectly, you know? So not make fun, poke fun. We joke, right? Right, boys? Am I one of the boys? Because this is how we play. Oh my god. So that was Austin, Texas. It was a great time. I love Jazzy Ann so much. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I love Jazzy Ann so much, and I will go back there. Hopefully soon, because I love Jazzy Ann. And I loved Austin, Texas. To be honest, I'd love to go back. So then my next episodes were in Brighton with Tom Simons and Tubbo. And Brighton is in the United Kingdom, the UK. And I've spent a lot of time in the UK since moving out. I think that it's a form of escapism, if I have to be honest with myself, because none of it feels real, and the accents feel fake, and everything feels fake, and, it's, like, kind of like, the weather is always gray all the time, and so, like, it just feels like you're stuck living the same day over and over. It's a great time. Actually, I love the UK so much. I really wanna see more of it, but I love just, like, immersing myself in their world. Like, the accents just become normal to me, and I forget that I'm out of place there. The people there just, like, look like claymation, like, with their little, like, it'll be someone in, like, a little raincoat and a blue umbrella and, like, their dog like, walking their dog, and, like, their dog has a raincoat on too. And then, like, they are pushing, like, a little, not a stroller, but rather a baby trolley. I don't think they've ever called them that. I think I made that up, but a baby trolley in it. They, like, are pushing that around and, like, their little baby's wrapped up in there, and, like, they just all look like little characters, you know? And so I love going over there and feeling like a little character. I think I just love to observe. Oh my gosh, the coffee over there though, bad, bad. And I know that like someone is gonna be like, "Oi, but you haven't even had the right coffee then. If you come over to Hogsmith and you do a big coffee, you have for a latte with none of the plunge, and you get 3 shots of slop in it, then you're gonna love it, innit? Cause don't even fucking talk about my coffee like that. Don't even. Oh, I will fuck you up, bruv. I will fuck you up. You wanna fucking talk about. You wanna talk about a coffee like that? You wanna talk about a coffee when you guys are literally getting shot up in your schools? Someone is gonna leave a comment like that, but I don't like the coffee there because they don't have many customization options. I need to be overwhelmed by choice when I go in a coffee shop. And when I go to the UK, it's like, so do you want your coffee to taste bad? Perfect. Oh, okay. Also, something that I noticed in the UK is like there's this big culture of complaining. I can get tired of it very quickly, of this like whiny British accents always complaining about every little thing. I can get tired of the complaining really quick because I'm someone who like really really tries to make the most out of every situation because if I don't my like I'll be I'm always trying to happy max. I'm always happy maxing. It's not I'm aging out of being cool, I think. They just find things to complain about all the time. Every little thing is complaining. Everything is kind of said in a tone of it's not everyone all the time, but it's just like a lot more than here. Everything is said in a tone of oh, I've watched some lost and berries. I guess like I don't mind it, but eventually I'll start to become a little bit bogged down by it. And then I realize something. If I were living in the UK, I'd probably have a lot to complain about as well. You know? I mean, Not that the US is, like, much better. I don't wanna think about it. Sorry, I just remembered the president and everything. But the we were talking about the UK, right? We were talking about see, now do you see why I go to the UK? We were talking about the UK. We were talking about the UK where Donald Trump is the president. I've noticed that complaining is their way of getting along. That, like, it's their way of, like, bonding. Because if you think about, like, the fastest way to connect with someone is to share a hatred for the same person, I think. I think, like, either that or, like, to make the person laugh, but, like, when, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend? If you, like, find something that you and another person both don't like, it's like if you're on the elevator and you're like, ugh, Mondays and it's raining. It's like you're immediately gonna get someone to bite on that. It's like that's the fastest way to connect. And so like being kind of grumpy and gloomy and grouchy like the sky of the UK all the time, that was a terrible metaphor. Wow. He has such a talent for words. Being grumpy and grouchy like the sky of the UK. Okay, okay, Gabby Hanna poetry book. It's their way of, like, bonding, and while I was there, I went on a date or 2 because I was like, maybe I'll, find someone that makes me wanna drop everything and move to the UK. Just kidding, I was like, maybe I'll find someone that I can keep in another country, and, that way I can hold on to my commitment issues and not have to address them. But, I went on a date and I was, like, talking with this guy. He was telling me this story about, when the World Cup was in or, like, because they all love sports there. They love soccer, football. Yeah, I'm bilingual, by the way. Basically, when if the World Cup, I don't know. Sorry, soccer fans. Um, whenever it if England is ever playing, then there's a rule that every single pub has to stay open. That's like an actual law. That's how much soccer and drinking have uh prominence in their culture. And apparently all of the power had gone out on all of the streets except for this one bar, okay? And so everyone's crammed into this bar, and everyone is watching the end of this game, packed in like sardines. There are people outside of the bar just like watching through the windows, like standing up on things, like they can't really move. And there's this one guy, I think he's like 17, all right? I don't know the full story. I don't know his name. I'm kind of this is folklore at this point. He's 17 and he's gonna shoot like a penalty kick or like whatever the kicks are where like you just get to like shoot it and you hope you don't miss it. I love sports. And he it's gonna decide if they win or lose the game. All right. This is a huge deal. Everyone in the pub is completely silent. He's about to kick it. Let's say his name is George Morty. That's a name I just came up with. I don't know his name. Okay, so George Morty goes up to kick the ball, completely silent. They're about to find out if they're going to win the World Cup series of soccer football. You could hear a pin drop. It's completely, did I mention it was silent in the bar? So he's about to kick the ball. He's about to kick the ball, and it's completely silent in the bar. So he runs up to kick the ball. His foot gets so close to the ball, it's completely silent in the bar. You could literally hear a pin drop. He's about to kick the ball, but it's completely quiet in the bar. I mean, like, it's silent. It's silent in the bar, okay? And he's about to. So the kid, he's 17. I'm going to call him George Morty. That's not his actual name, but this is the World Series, and they're in the bar. This is taking place in England. Completely silent in this bar. He's about to kick the ball. He kicks it, he misses. And suddenly, the TV turns off, it shatters. A guy throws his pint at the TV, and it silences the entire bar, and he just goes, "George Morty, you stupid cunt!" And then everyone breaks out just like cheering. Even though they lost, even though they're so mad, they still got to have this moment of like coming together and being mad together and complaining, and it's what united them. Whether they won or lost, this is how they're getting out their feelings together in community. This is how men are doing it. You know, in America, they hop onto a Discord call and they play Fortnite. Isn't that right, kids? That's how men are taking out their anger these days, but I just thought that that was really interesting that even though they lost, you know, throwing a pint at the TV shattering and everyone cheering after they lost, like they still got that moment of being able to be really angry at someone else, you know? And I just thought that like that put things into perspective for me that like, oh, complaining and like being hateful and being angry is just like their way of coming together and loving. And if you're British, you're probably gonna watch this video and be like, "Oh, that's not even the right truth, friend, innit? Because we don't even we're angry all the time because we're fucking tired. We're fucking tired all the time, and everyone's always trying to make fun of us and making fun of our accents on the podcast." But I like my theory better. So, next I went to New Jersey, specifically Jersey City, with Anthpo. You saw the episode, hopefully. And Jersey City was incredible. Actually, like maybe one of my favorite places that I've ever been because I love New York City. New York City is one of my favorite places in the world, if you can't tell by the fact that I keep going back. Jersey City was like New York City without the bad. It's right outside of the city. You can get into the city like 15 minutes, like a 15-minute train into downtown Manhattan, like directly into Times Square. But also, Jersey City is cheap. I don't want to blow up the spot, actually. Don't. It sucks there. It's bad. It sucks. Like, don't go there and raise the living prices. Please, please, please. There's you can just see the entire New York City skyline. I just feel like it's like what I like about New York City, which is like community and proximity to like all of the things happening and art and culture and diversity and public transit, you know, in America. I didn't even know they could do that. And it's quieter than New York City because you're right outside of the city. And I just think you kind of get the best of both worlds a little bit. And I really enjoyed my time there. The story that I have written down for Jersey is, is definitely not my favorite one, but I thought it was the most interesting. So I if I were to go through like my favorite best memories in Jersey, it would be with Anthony and his roommates, and I just had an amazing time with them. They're just great friends. Never gotten along with people quicker. I just like just the best people ever. If you watch my Vlogmas series on my main channel, you would have seen some of them. That was around the time that I was staying with them, and then I actually went back for New Year's because I couldn't get enough. What happened the last time that I was there, I was like, "All right, I'm tired of the empty feeling inside that the part of me that craves companionship and love so badly. I was just curious as to what the dating scene would be like around New York. Because I think that New York is the worst place for finding love, or the worst place for dating. It was voted, I don't know who. You know when they say these like surveys and they're like New York City voted the worst place to be for dating. Minnesota voted the best place to get a Coca-Cola in a can. Wow, surprised they haven't done an interview like that. That would anyway. I was like, I want to see what little artsy NYU students are around here. If maybe I find one that I click with. I'm literally living kind of like a nomadic lifestyle right now. So if I found the right person, then like, you know, maybe I've got to carry on. I've just figured, you know, young, free, wild. Let's find some guy who will show me around the city a little bit. And so I got on Hinge and I matched with a guy. Okay. Which first of all, bad news, right? You never want to do that. As a person who exists on the planet is matched with a guy on a dating app. So this guy is so hot, okay? I'm like we match. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm going to see if he'll send the first message, okay? I get a message from him. Should I just pull up the message? He unmatched me. this is actually this is the most embarrassing story to ever. This is this is the most embarrassing story to ever happen. Okay? Okay. He messages me and he's like, "Yo, no way. I think I've seen some of your videos." Dang it! Bad start, dude. Bad start. Bad start. Bad, really bad start. Because if someone ever messages me on a dating app and they know who I am, especially if it's in like a fan way where they're like, no way, is that the real Koi Piso? If you're starting a conversation like that with me, no. No. Because I don't think that the people in my dating age range, I can't guarantee the maturity levels to have a something that isn't bad and problematic, right? Where I'm, if someone's a fan of me, then there could be a bit of a power dynamic there. And also, they have this idea of me in their head that isn't the real idea of who I am. It's just like it's just like, sorry, I almost just threw up. It's just like the fragments of myself that I've put on the internet. And so it's always a full stop for me, right? But this guy was hot and he didn't look like a fan of mine. Not that those two correlate, all right? I have plenty of hot fans. No, in a platonic way, I have plenty of hot fans. But the way that he approached me was kind of like, "Oh, I think I've seen some of your videos." Like it wasn't like an overly fan, like he was pretty like nonchalant about it, but you never know if they're putting on a front, okay? So I was like, I'll just proceed with my guard forward because I was so tired of the cycle repeating itself over and over and over and over and over. Queer community, can you stop watching me and knowing who I am? Just kidding. I take that back because you seriously pay my bills. Thank you. I was like, "Okay, okay, fine. Maybe I'll just break the cycle. I'll see if it won't be weird." If he's only seen, like, maybe my most viral YouTube video, that was, like, a year or 2 ago. He's completely forgotten about it. We can have a normal time. It'll be fun. It'll be fine. And if it isn't, I'll leave, you know? If I c Because I can sense I've been in situations where I can tell that people are treating me differently. They're treating me as if I'm a content creator rather than a person, but newsflash, content creators are people too. Hmm? So we're messaging back and forth a little bit, right? He's he's being really nice to me. Okay, he's showing interest. We're talking about going on a date. I'm not getting like fan energy from him, which is just great news. And so there's hope. And my friends are hyping me up about it. I was like, all right, let's maybe go on a date this weekend. And then he was like, ooh, I'm going on a trip this weekend. How about when I come back? And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna be leaving this city before you come back was my plans originally. But then I ended up extending my trip, and so I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to let him know that I'm extending my trip and we can go on a date together next week." I open up Hinge. Tell me why I was banned for impersonation. How do people say that and not sound like a chicken? Cock blocked by my blah blah blah. Cock blocked by my own fame and success. Are you kidding me? Banned for impersonation? I'm doing Googling. I'm like, how long do appeals take to be submitted and reviewed? They're like, up to 3 months. Thanks, Hinge. Up to 3 months. I'm either gonna be dead or married by then, hopefully. I have big plans, Hinge, in the next 3 months. So I was like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Like, this guy is so hot. We can go on a date now. I have to let him know. Like, there is hope. Like, I just wanted to go on one date. I just wanted to go on one nice date because I was like, I deserve that. I deserve that. I was at a very low point. All right. I just wanted one date. My Hinge is banned. Everything's gone. Hope is looking lost. But I have one more idea. He said that he had seen a few of my videos. And when I see a few videos from a guy that I fancy, learned that from the UK, go follow him on Instagram sometimes. So I decided to go to my Instagram followers and search his name and see if I could weed through all of the other people with the same basic white guy name to see if I could find him. And I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it, but I am proud of the fact that I found him. I am proud of the fact that it worked. Okay? If he wants to come to me messaging me being like, "I've seen a few of your videos," then I have every right to go message him on Instagram. He's the one following me, so who looks obsessed, right? I'm talking about him on my podcast right now. Dang it, he wins. He wins. All right, so then right, so I message him on Instagram. Hi, sorry to track down your Insta like an insane person, but my Hinge was banned for impersonation. I know you were out of town, but just want to let you know I'm staying an extra week in the city if you'd still want to show me around. If you got that message, would you be freaked out? I feel like that was crazy in the way that I in the way that people should be looking for. And I'm definitely just coping because that was a crazy thing to do. That was a crazy thing to do, but all of my friends were encouraging me to do it. They dared me. They had double dog dared me, and he never responded to me. So, was I ghosted by a fan in the most embarrassing way? Yes. Okay, let's move on. So that was Jersey. Jersey was great. Okay, I gotta get through these. All right. Then I went from Jersey to New York City with Max Zavadow. I was only in there for less than 24 hours, but we did so much in that 24 hours. He picked me up in a rental car that he was using for a shoot for a video of his. And then we were driving. He was like, "All right, we need to go to this place to pick up a prop. We need to go to this diner where you're going to pick up a menu that I need for the shoot tomorrow morning. We're going to go to my mom's house and get a costume. We're going to go this place, and we're going to build this, and will you help me carry this?" And we had a late night doing like pre-production for his for one of his TikToks that he was working on, and it was really cool, and it was a lot of fun, and it was fun to just, like, be able to, like that was the first podcast guest that I had, um, never met before doing the episode, and so it was cool to just be able to, like, jump into his life and learn what I could at the short amount of time that I had, and then interview him the next day. Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't get to see the area very much, so I don't know if I really have, opinions on it, but there was just a cool community of comedians that I got to meet there at that shoot, actors and comedians and voice actors and all of these people that had done all of this different stuff creatively, and it was just really inspiring, and I felt welcomed and like I almost even like belonged there among other people that were funny, and everyone was just kind of like riffing. It just felt like an improv convention. Doesn't that sound like a dream? Yeah, that was a great time. I mean, like, it was less than 24 hours, but it was crazy to see how fast everything moved in less than a day. So, yeah, that was a fun time. And then I took a 9-hour train back to North Carolina, and here we are. Couch surfing so far has been so much fun. It's been so insane to get the hang of. And I actually surprisingly feel like I'm starting to get a little bit used to not being used to anything. But it is really difficult, and I knew that that was going to be the case. I'm really surprised by my ability to just like insert myself into someone's life and fit in immediately. Like I feel like that's pretty seamless. Like it's not just like it doesn't that was the big thing that I was scared about is, like, feeling like I'm intruding and feeling a little awkward and out of place, but, like, I feel like I am able to just kind of adapt. The problem that I've actually had isn't getting the hang of living someone else's life, it's actually leaving it. I I get really attached, you know? I start to get into a routine. I start to, like, make friends with their friends. I start to find a spot in this life that they have very quickly, and, leaving that is just, like, really sad, to be honest. I feel really lucky that that's the problem that I'm having right now, you know? That, like, it is going so well and that I'm having such a great time that, like, I don't wanna leave, and the people that I'm staying with don't want me to leave, or at least to my face, they act sad. That's been hard is, like, not getting too attached to the place that I'm at, um, and finding something to put attachment to, because we need some kind of stability, some kind of consistency, something to like ground me and keep me regulated. And the big thing that I found for that, I hate that I'm about to say this, to be honest, is yoga. I hate when someone is like, the thing that really worked for me was journaling. Actually, turns out I just needed a good sleep schedule. Oh, actually, I just needed to hydrate a lot more. Once I started taking care of myself, all my problems went away. I just had to fix my diet and start exercising. Boo! I hate the cliche mental health advice. Even if it works, want you to tell me that all of the unhealthy behaviors that I have actually aren't the reasons that my brain is unhealthy. And pardon my corniness, but yoga has been kind of my home throughout all of this. I've been doing it since I moved out on my own, for I guess 2 years now. And I just like really started doing it consistently last year, but I just do like free practices on YouTube. Shout out Yoga with Adrian. Yoga with Adrian if you want on the podcast. Seriously, I'm sad. I'm sad. Yoga with Adrian, thank you so much for everything and for changing my life. She's watching this. I just do like no matter where I am, if I'm sleeping on an air mattress or a spare bed or two chairs pushed together, I can always find a spot where I can do yoga. And that's been the place that I can return to. That's been the thing that I'm familiar with is coming back to the sound of my breath and like the feeling of being in my body. That's honestly helped me so much. Like, I'll be doing yoga on, like, some dirty, like, some dirty area rug or, like, a cold floor, but, like, I don't care because I've gotten used to it, and I think that that's been really nice, and I think that that is gonna continue to carry me through this lifestyle that I'm living. And I think that that also shows that, like, home is a feeling, and I think that it's a feeling that you can also build within yourself as you practice, like, more self-love and acceptance. So that's been cool to strengthen. I still have a lot of work to be done. That's a big lesson that I've learned and am continuing to learn is as I am, more or less homeless. Like more I guess I'm not homeless, I'm houseless. It's a fun challenge to like find the home in the community that I'm dropped into and also find a routine is another thing. Is like how do you keep a routine when your environment is consistently changing and along with your time zone sometimes. And I'm still struggling with that, I think a little bit. A big thing is, like, coffee shops are always gonna be everywhere, and so, like, if I get up and I, like, walk to a coffee shop or go to a coffee shop and, like, sit down and do work, then, like, that feels like, "Oh, yeah, this is the thing that I do," and I can get in my rhythm a little bit more, but sometimes getting into that rhythm and getting into that routine can be a bit hard the first day or 2 of me being somewhere as I'm, like, adjusting, but, like, that's natural, and I think I'm only hopefully gonna get better at it. I'm hoping, knock on wood, but I'm hoping that like my travel abilities and ability to just like be nomadic and jump from place to place only improve rather than burn out. Cause I feel like by the time people are like 30 something, they're like, I'm so tired of traveling. Really? Does that happen, guys? You're so tired of traveling? Okay. Is it because of like knee pain? Or you're actually just like tired of visiting and exploring and moving and that plane rides lose their novelty after a while. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Don't tell me that. As I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, my lease is up at the end of this month. End of February, I'm out of here. I have not started packing. I need to do that very badly, but I'd rather just kind of worry about it and complain about it to the people around me instead of start on it. Kind of feels better than actually doing it. And my plans right now are basically I'm going to pack up all my stuff and drive it all to my hometown back in the Midwest. And if you don't know the Midwest, it's like Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Idaho, Wisconsin. They're all the same. I live in one of those. Okay. I'm gonna drive all of my stuff back to the Midwest, put it in a storage locker, except for like the basic necessities that I need to like live and function and day to day, the stuff that I use. And then immediately I'm going to the UK for like a month and a half, like a month or so, and I'm hoping to do some couch surfing interviews outside of just the UK. Like I want to do some around Europe. I think that I might have a really interesting interview set up in Paris. Ooh, I actually don't. It's not completely confirmed, so sorry for teasing that if that doesn't happen. But yeah, let me know if there are like people around the UK that I could get to by train that I can interview because I kind of just want to continue to get good at this thing, get good at interviewing and figure out what this podcast what I, as it's taking form and continue to improve it and release episodes and grow it and build it and yeah, I told myself that I just like do the first like 10 episodes and then figure it out from there because there's a lot logistically to figure out about this podcast and there's a lot to think about with podcasts in general when it comes to like sponsors and posting clips and branding and structure and format and all that other stuff. So I wanted to like kind of get some warm up, but soon I'm going to be really really couch surfing without my home base in North Carolina. I'm excited for this podcast to, take its full form and take me wherever it goes. Oh, then after I'm in the UK for a month, I'm going to be. Did you hear? I can say it again. After the UK, I'm going to be living with my parents. After the UK, I'm going to be living with my parents after the UK. So cool. But it's not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be that bad. I just like don't. It's just like moving back in with your parents after you've moved out. I'm like trying not to view it as a failure. It's more so going to be my home base as I couch surf and as I look for a more permanent place to live. Because right now I don't know where I want to live. I really would love a roommate or two, and I don't know if I found those people or the timing isn't working out. So, I am very lucky to be able to stay with my parents in the meantime. But I'm guessing I'm not going to be there very much. I'm probably just going to be fully couch surfing. And that's just gonna kind of be my home base in between places. I'm a bit nervous to return to my hometown because everyone knows everyone, and when I go there, it's really hard to explain my life to them. I just went back for a funeral. It's okay. Sorry, I was assuming you said sorry for your loss. Did you not? Oh, that's unbelievable. No, but I went to a funeral and so I saw everyone I've ever known ever, and people are like grieving, crying, and then they're like also trying to do the thing where you like haven't seen someone in like 12 years. So you're like, so what are you doing now? Through tears. And you're trying to like ex I'm like, how do I explain this to you in a way that isn't going to be a conversation? Because they don't actually want to have a conversation about like the ins and outs of my life. They don't actually want like at a funeral isn't the time where like I'm not gonna say Mr. Beast's name, but he might just have to come up if I'm gonna explain what my life is now. So I was like, oh no, what do I say? What do I say? Because what they want me to say is, oh, I'm studying blank at blank. Oh, I'm studying business at Ivy Lunches, the school. I never went to college. Um, so instead, I just kind of went, I'm all over the place. And they're like, unemployed. Okay, unemployed. He is unemployed living with his parents. And that is not true yet. Give me a few months and I will be. Anyway, I had more written down, but I think that honestly, before I go to the UK and start doing more episodes with guests, I have another North Carolina guest before I leave, so I'm gonna do that. And then before I go to the UK, I'll probably do another solo episode. So I'll leave some of the stuff that I've written down here. But I think that like solo episodes might become a semi-regular thing every 5, 10 episodes or so. So like let me know what you wanna see from them, what you wanna hear from me, what you're thinking of the podcast so far. I'd love to hear it. I'm really, really excited for the future of this podcast. It feels like I'm running on the edge of the cliff, on the edge of the cliff. You know the one. I'm running on the edge of a cliff and that, like, the ground is just being placed out in front of me, like, Big Hero 6 with the magnets. Whatever. That's what it feels like right now because I only know what my life is gonna be like a month or 2 at a time, but I'm having a lot of fun, and I think it's a cool project. I think it's a cool experiment. I really want it to last for a long time, to be honest. I would love it, and I think that this, we may be, 8 episodes in or something like that, but I still think that this is just the beginning of what's to come. So, thanks for being here. Song recommendation for this episode is, "Wonder Eye" by Little Moon. So, if you wanna check out all the song recommendations from me and all the guests, there's a link to a playlist, in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Check out my Patreon if you wanna support the show. It really helps. There's extra content over there. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week on a different couch.